Hi everyone. Today on Take Heart, we look at sexual offences. Earlier this year, on the 1st of August, during our Women's Month here in South Africa, we had an event that focused on abuse against women and children specifically, so gender-based violence. And violent crimes in South Africa is on the rise. It's really, really become a thing that is almost commonplace in Cape Town, South Africa. And so it's something that we can't be quiet about. We've got to have our voices heard and speak against these things and open up these stories. So we're going to look at some of the stories from women who've experienced this. I've got a very, very special friend with me today. Her name is Nazley Abrahams. She's a trusted confidant. And so many times, so many people, the ear for their pain, for their suffering, for their challenges. But today, we're going to look at her. She's gone through some really difficult challenges in life, but she's had God to take her through, and we're going to talk about that and how He showed up for her. Can we welcome Nazley Abrahams? Welcome to Take Off.
Thank you, Lucy.
We know it's a tough conversation today, but we are you're just going to share whatever is on your heart. I'll be here with you through this journey. I'm going to start with a couple of questions. Okay? Okay. Good to go. So, crazy question. Why do you love long nails so much?
It's scratching my ears.
That's a good one. Not for your nose, eh?
No.
Just for the ears. Yes. Okay. Naz, you've gone through liquor challenges in life. I want to quickly touch on just how good you look. You look good. You look like somebody that doesn't have a key in the world. Your hair looks fabulous. Your nail look fabulous. You're looking good. How did you put all of this together? Because you're some kind of stylist too.
Oh, Lucy, I think Adam Mimak Robbins. No, you shouldn't actually look like the Brahmin as well.
Can we talk that?
Yeah.
Yes, girl. Oh, yes.
But to the story on hand, we know that you've gone through things, and like you said, now you don't want to look like your problem. Talk to us about how long this journey took, and then just start at the beginning. Then we want to hear about you.
Okay. This is a long time. 35 years, I would say. As old as my eldest son, Kyle. Yeah. And it took me a while to speak about it. It was hard. A lot happened in that 35 years as well. A lot happened, and it changed my life completely. And back in the days when it happened, it was taboo to speak about it. You couldn't actually tell anyone. You had to keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because people would look down on you if you mentioned anything about you being abused, or your husband did certain things to you, invent that he shouldn't be doing to you. You should just hold it all together. And I think 2 months ago, it started coming up at the Women's Day event.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, Lucy, yeah, you gave me the platform to speak. And I think it opened up a lot of things, and I reflected a lot. Things I hid, things I pushed back, and things I didn't want to speak about.
Yeah.
But here we are today, and I want to open up about it. I do get emotional sometimes about it, but it's tough because the things that I went through was hard for me, and I couldn't share it with anyone, and nobody could listen to me. And I didn't want to burden people with my problems, but I'm here today to speak about this.
Thank you. I think that, so first of all, thank you for doing that. I know when we had this conversation the first time, it was, I could see on your face all the mixed emotion that was going through your mind, and how do you deal with this? And because obviously I asked you to speak in front of an audience.
Yes.
It wasn't like this where it's just me and you having a chat. This was essentially a coming out.
It was.
Talk to us about, I'm saying the mixed emotions, but when I asked you the first time to talk about your story, what was the thinking process? And you took a little bit of, or you kind of said yes, and then you withdrew, but you took a little while to really confirm for me that you would be, on the, or speaking at the,
Speaking about it, yeah, it took me 2 weeks. I know you asked me in advance, and I said immediately yes, but then I thought, are you mad? Like, how are you going to speak in front of all these people? I've never done it before. I'll have one-on-one conversations with people. Like I told you my story before, and I've told a few people, but that was like a one-on-one conversation. I've never had a platform to speak in front of so much women, especially women. And I went home that night and I thought, can I do this? Do I actually want to do it? And I thought, yes, I want to do it. But then I went back and said, no, I can't do it. I went back and forth, and I even thought of an excuse to you to tell you, look, Lucy, I can't do this. And then I thought that morning, I thought to myself, you're going to do this. You're going to help other women out there as well. And I promise you, I was nervous, but it felt good. It felt good to tell people that, and people approached me afterwards and asked me, like, how do you do it? And what happened and all the back. But at that moment, I didn't know how to explain. Sorry. I didn't know how to explain to me.
yeah.
It was very overwhelming for people to come up to me and ask me, like, did you actually learn this kind of life? You don't look like you lived this life. And my answer was again, I don't want to look like my problems. I don't want to look run down or sad all the time or bitter. Life goes on.
Yeah.
And I want to help other people. And that is why again I say I'm here today to do that. To help. If anything, for people that's not able to speak out for themselves.
Yeah.
I was that person also. I would listen to people, but I would never speak about my problems.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
And we're so glad that you do. I'm going to come back to, because we're talking 35 years. It's a long time. We'll come back to that towards the end. But I think it's time for you to share your story. Let's hear, take us from the it started, from like when you realized, wherever you want to start, okay. Take us there and share your story with us. Yeah, man.
It's a memory that I pushed back and I keep pushing back. And I was 19 years old when it started, when I met my first boyfriend. Yeah. And I was abused. But to me, it was just, oh, this must be love. This is normal. I didn't know anything else. And then I left him, met my first husband, married, and then probably the first year in our marriage, it started. The abuse started, the hitting, the sexual abuse. But I thought it was normal because he's my husband. How could I feel that my husband is sexually abusing me when he's actually my husband? He's got all the right to do it.
Yeah.
But then I realized afterwards, but if I say no, it means no. Doesn't mean yes.
Yeah.
And then when I said I was forced to do certain things, and if I don't do it, I get beaten up. And I've lived for that fear. I actually had fear all the time. Even like he used to get home or he used to get home, I always had fear. And it was also normal.
Wow. Why was that normal for you? You keep saying that word.
Because I knew nothing else.
Why? How?
I don't know. I just adapted to that kind of lifestyle, I guess.
And so there must have been some kind of exposure, so something that must have made you think that this is how a boyfriend or a husband should be treating me.
Yeah.
And that there's no ownership of your own body into it.
It actually came from the first person I dated. So he kind of treated me that way. And that's it, the time. That's all about everything, got everything. Absolutely.
So now you get married. You were here in Talini, and here this abuse is happening. You feel like your body is not even your mind. You're realizing that you should be able to say no, but what is happening?
We're constant. Does if I say no, I'd be beaten up.
Tell us about one of that experiences if you're okay to share.
No, okay to share that. It wasn't the everyday thing. It was occasional.
Yeah.
I had my moments, like my happy moments when my kids were born, and he was around, he was supportive up until a certain time. But basically, he used to look for problems because then anyone can go out. So I stand up, I ask the question, like, were you off to what you're doing? I shouldn't question him because I didn't have the right to question him. And then the arguments obviously started, and then that's where the beating started over there as well, like beaten to a pulp. At one stage, he beat me up so badly. I ended up in hospital, but then I made an excuse, the normal excuse where you knocked yourself. You actually knocked yourself against a wall or you walked into a door. But I knew people didn't believe it, but they didn't want to see that. Back then, people didn't want to get involved, or interfere. So that told me I couldn't speak to anyone because nobody was nobody to help me. I hid it away from my family members. It was hard because I stayed away from family because of that, because my body was always bruised, my face was always bruised. So back then, I used to hide. And when I'm okay, then I'll go visit my family. They'll always ask, like, why aren't you bringing the kids around? And I always used to make excuses. And I actually landed up in Crescent Clinic for botulism because of depression. That was the last straw.
So this is how many years later now?
26 years later. And the reason why I landed up in Crescent Clinic is I held a gun against my head. Wanted to kill me, wanted to shoot me. And then my daughter rushed out and she saw, and then she asked him, Daddy, what you doing? And he said, oh, no, I'm just playing with mommy. And obviously she's 6 at this time and she knows what a gun is or what it looks like because you see it on TV. And she said, no, but you shouldn't be playing with the guns. And why do you have a gun against my mom's head? And he says, no, I'm just playing with her. And she says, but then you must take it away from me because it's dangerous. And then he whispered in my ear, we daughter saved your life. And then he moved out. Yeah. I mean, I was a nervous breakdown, and then I ended up in Crescent Clinic for a month.
So now Mishka's now there, he leaves.
Yeah.
Right? What's happening in that moment? Because you land up in the clinic.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
So like I said, Mishka ran to the neighbor to fetch the neighbor, and he obviously left, got into his car and he left. And so I'm sitting down in shock, not knowing what's obviously happening around me. And all I said to her is, go call Giovanna, which is my neighbor. She runs, she goes, they come around with her, which is the neighbor's just right next to me. I didn't send her anywhere further. It's just next to me. She ran up the door and she came back with, and then, but my neighbor knew about all of this, the abuse and all of that. Yeah. I shared it with her back then.
Okay.
Yeah. And she always encouraged me to make a case, and I always said, no, I'm too scared to make a case. And that day when she came back, she said to me, this is the end, Donik. What happened? And I couldn't speak, and all she said is, I'm going to get my car And we're going to get you into the call. We're going to get you to the doctor. And you need to do something about this today. And then I obviously didn't want anything to happen. I said, no, we can't. I don't want to go to hospital. I don't want to go anywhere. I'm going to stay here. This is going to come back. No. She put the foot down. She carried me. She literally carried me into the car with my boys. Wow. Went to the doctor. And because the doctor has a file of me coming to him constantly with bruises, marks, everything. And he said, okay, I was waiting for this day. He actually said, I was literally waiting for this day. When you walk in there and you admit the counselor is abusing. And this is what I'm going to be doing. I mean, we're opening a case and we're going to look into prison claim. And he phoned, obviously, and they had a place for me. And Giovanna took me to prison claim. They dropped me off and said to me, I will take care of your kids. You will take them. Yeah. Wow.
So doing that. And that's also, I think, the misconception sometimes, we get so caught up in the fear, right? In the fear. We don't want to tell anybody because that perpetrator, that person who's doing the abuse, has played such a number on our minds, essentially. So you're scared for your life, what's going to happen to your kids, how do I move? So you keep it to yourself and you just take this abuse. But you've got this doctor, you've got your friend, and she just steps up in there. I wanna ask about your family. So, and because we're talking about at the time that we were up here, we have things what to do. You don't talk about it. You married, you suck it up. You made your bed, you lie. You made your bed, you lie in a tri-circle. Your family, so you didn't tell them? No. They were nowhere to be found, no. They eventually obviously found out after Geronif made contact with him and said, my dad, my stepmother, my sister, my brothers, and they were all in shock. Like, what has happened? Why is no sign? There was no sign, there was nothing. She was always happy. His family functions, his work. Happy family, we looked up to them, not knowing what is happening behind closed doors. And then my family eventually found out. I had to come out and tell them about it. And that's where I started getting support from my family. And obviously they even said, like, why didn't I say that? I was too scared. If I was telling him, and this man's going to kill me. He almost grew 2 days ago. That was back then when I was reading Interest in Clinic. I could get visitors, and my family started visiting me and questioning me. And then obviously, the doctor at that time said, please don't question it too much. Because she's dealing with a lot. But I was open to speak about it at that time to the family. Because obviously they needed to know. Yes. But then I spent my month in Crescent Clinic. It helped a lot. I had a lot of sessions, one-on-one sessions, speaking to different people, hearing their problems, and I'm thinking, wow, my problem compared to this was nothing. So that also, I mean, just going there, a lot of times we keep quiet because we're comparing ourselves to other people, and other people's problems are always like, because I mean, you can think and see what people are going through. Actually, I'm so lucky. And that could also be one of the reasons why we study in those situations, right? Absolutely. So you're not lucky. Because your story isn't less important than the next person's story. And if you find that out and you realize that you don't have to go through this. So it's Crescent Clinic after that, you were busy making your exit now. I made my exit immediately. So after Crescent Clinic, I went to my dad's place and I didn't go back home. We got divorced 2 months later. Wow, I stepped up. I said, this is where it ends.
I think I got that strength at the clinic. So I knew I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't go.
So you're leaving Crescent Clinic now? Or has them?
Yeah, so left, went back to my dad's place, lived there for a while, got divorced within 2 months. Wow, got the strength to divorce him. He fought it. I don't know.
Because they manipulate.
Yeah.
And the control, you love control.
Control, yeah. And his last words were to be, you will never find anyone who will take you and your sleeping. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I believed it. Back when I believed it, like, I'm worthless, I'm useless. This is prior we going to Plus Clean, obviously. He used to throw this into my face like, look at you, look what you look like. You're worth nothing. Yeah. Obviously, I believe Paul's words. Like, me going to the clinic made such a difference in the. I freaked it a lot. I told myself, I am enough.
Yeah.
And I still am enough.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now, you left. This is Crescent Clinic. Did basically kind of there's the change start.
Yes, that's where the change started.
But going back and you look at your kiddies, Wishka's at this point 6 years old.
Yeah.
Kyle, how old is Kyle?
Kyle was 12. Kyle is 12. Zaid was 2.
They has 2 years old. You've got your 2 kids. Wishka's already acting like a little grown up.
Grown at him. She had to grow up.
When this was happening to you in those years that you were married to him, what was going on with the kids? How was it affecting you?
Zaid at that time obviously didn't understand what's happening. He's a little sorry love too, yeah. Right? Mishka saw all the abuse and it affected her. Yeah. Kyle remembers it now. Yeah. After so many years, because of his condition. Yeah. He was also not aware of what is happening. So Mishka was actually the one that knows exactly what happened, how it happened. That day she'll never forget. That's imprinted in her mind. So she'll keep reminding me as she grew older. Mom, I'm so happy to have you still around. That type of thing. But in a year, she doesn't even recall saving my life. And I only told her when she was an adult. She actually saved.
Yeah.
No, she didn't realize I had to tell her. She actually saved my life. They did.
Like your kids is a story for another day. Yeah. I mean, they have grown up to be incredible adults. That's a story for another day. Talk to us about you spoke about landing up in the hospital a couple of times.
Yes.
Tell us about that, how you got there, what those incidents looked like that landed you there.
There was so much of those incidents. But one I do remember is I just started a new job and I wasn't allowed to work as well, but I told myself, I'm going to get myself a job and I need to get out of here. So got a job. 2 weeks into the job, I got home one evening. He had an argument to say to me, oh, so you're going to work looking for me. That's why you're going to work. I'm like, no, I'm going to work so I can be independent and I don't need to depend on you. So he said to me, I will show you that you will not have a job after what I'm going to do to you. Start beating me up, beat my face, my jawline was broken. He literally threw me downstairs because we lived in like a masonry pack-up house.
Yeah.
So me trying to get away, getting my keys into a room as well, hiding them for them not to see what's happening. You had to be through it down the stairs. And then I crawled to the door and I shouted at someone to come and help. I mean, some random person just walked past and obviously heard the noise and the sound of me screaming, and he ran in and he came and he says, I remember his house, he says, "What is happening?" And I said, "Can you please just help me?" If you were sick, the husband living with you, I'm like, "Can you please just help me?" And I was laying in front of the door, busy crawling out. And this guy picked me up, and then my husband, then the ex, ran out and he said, "Don't you dare touch her." And I just whispered to the guy, "Please just take me away. Just take me away." And then he picked me up and I showed him where to take me to my neighbor. Okay. Took me to my neighbor, and then they went to fetch my kids first, and then I went to hospital. And I laid in hospital for a week. My jaw was actually went big. It's the thing that such vivid images. And that's why it's you are strong woman. Talk to us about the incident when you were shot. I can't go back there. No. Okay. You've been through so much, and you are incredibly strong to more than survive that. And this is a testament, I mean, not just to you, but to so many of us that have gone through stuff like this. And it's not easy to remember, right? Yeah. Because I blocked it out. And that's how it's about. I blocked it out. But and I realized that I need to speak or him. I need to let it go. It didn't make me a better person, but it just held back so many things. The fear of meeting someone again. Is this person may do the same thing to me? And out there is to blame myself, like, is this what I attract? Is this what I give off to mean that they should abuse me? Yeah. And that was my fear. You are a beautifully successful mom. You work in finance. You've done incredibly well for yourself, for someone who was not allowed to work, who was punched and kicked and had all kinds of things happen to you to prevent you from having remotely a life outside of your husband and your kids. And now you look back and you see this life that you've got now, right? And you're talking about how you've had to fight these demons, these mindsets about being beautiful again, being loved again, because
I feel that that's what we think about as women, that who's ever when they want mirror damage goods. We damage good. Yeah. How long did it take you? And if it is still, if you're still in that process, that's also okay.
Yeah. But what started making you think like that? Where I don't wear my problems now.
How long did it take you to start the shift in your mind of
I am worthy. I am able to be loved. I'm able to allow others into my space.
how long did it take? Took me like 5 years to get there. To be able to
Be who I am. The person that I am today. Back then, honestly. I obviously focus myself every day. Looking at myself in the mirror and saying, no is anointed. Because I believe what was told me. Yeah. You have 3 kids. You have a kid that's handicapped. You had a daughter that's 6 years old. You have a little boy of 2 years old. Who is in one look after someone else's kids? And you feel the damaged person that you are. Are you able to love them? Is someone able to love you? So yeah, I just got and work on myself, and I found a job, found myself a place to stay again, took my kids, and it took me 5 years to get to that point where I can tell myself, I'm worth it. And it's an ongoing process. Yeah. I still have to do it sometimes. I still have to keep myself and tell myself when I feel a certain way, like, come and go. You've come so far. You need to keep going. I just need to keep going all the time. Because I have my grandkids now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know they are the light of your life. Absolutely. Or even Kanye has moved. They've moved to New Zealand. Speaking in this very New Zealand accent still now.
Yeah. Which I can't understand, but yeah.
And I know that they just bring you so much joy every time they say to me. So rebuilding your life, who stood by you when you were doing the rebuilding?
I can't tell you there's my specific person. There was different parts of my life and different people entered my life and assisted and spoke. My brother, my sister, people came and people left. But I had to do it on my own. See, I had to tell myself like that. Nobody's around you permanently. And that's when I realized that I need to do this on my own. And I did it. It was hard. It was hard. It was tough getting up in the morning, going to work, finding someone to look after my kids, finding a nanny for Carl. It's still there. It's still constant. Yes, it's still constant. It's still there. But I know how to handle it now. Back then, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was so grown with my kids as well.
Yeah.
I was a 50-year-old, 52-year-old.
Yeah.
My kids were what age that they were at, and I was still growing with my kids. So, like I said, it took me 5 years to, when I was 37, I only became a woman.
Cancel all of that trauma. Yeah. Takes a lot. I know that this takes a whole lot more conversation, and that's all time and yeah, this morning now. But I want to touch on, did you ever in this time, and maybe especially in the time when you were rebuilding the light, did you ever feel that God is coming and playing a role in that rebuilding and keeps you the stakes? Absolutely. Absolutely. Talk to us about that. And just share even your thoughts, because, this platform that you've been given is really just sharing about the real cycles, the real thoughts that we have about God, about Jesus,
about life. Tell us what you thought you must have thought at some point, and maybe I'm wrong. It's quite more than you. No, I question, and I've been told growing up in your Christian world. And I've questioned many things. Why are you around us right until you can see that nobody is around to support me? Why is it all of a sudden? And I lost my mom when I was 6. My dad got remarried. And hence I'm such an independent person as well because I depend on my aunts and my uncles getting up handouts from different people. And then at the point of me going through all of that and rebuilding my life after, I asked God, from the age of 6 up until the age of 37, is this the kind of life that I'm supposed to be having? Yeah. Real question. And I know it deserved. Yeah. Like, and he showed me friends after that. He showed me what was life is supposed to be for him after that. I didn't have the patience and to keep on going, but he kept pushing me. He kept telling me, "Oh, you cannot be giving up now. You've gone so far. You've come so far. You've got 3 beautiful kids. You've got Carl that's depending on you. You cannot give up at all." I honestly, I tried to give up a couple of times already. Just, I've had enough. I can't do this. I can't do this alone. And then I would think that you are being selfish now. But then I would say, but everybody's selfish with me. Yes. But they are. So building my life again, I actually realized that, you know what, this was all hard. Wow. And every day I thank you. I thank him every day. In my way. Yeah. At night, when I lay in bed, I still sometimes struggle with thoughts of going back to my past, and he will he kind of like kicks and says to me, "Why are you going back there?" But because I guess because I'm comparing to what I've been through and where I am now. Yeah, yeah. And being able to look after a son that's 35 years old and that's handicapped and able to picking up. Where did I get the sand from? Tony gone. Tony gone. Absolutely. Do you have, you speak about that never giving up because that was that seems to have been the reoccurring, oh, that can't give up. No, you can't give up. No, you can't give up. Do you have a special sculpture that you hold dear that you might want to share? And then I've got to add on to that for people that are listening, that are at the point of giving up. What message would you give to them? This is a hectic option. There's so many scriptures. I can't pick one. But all I want to say is, don't give up. Yeah. It's as hard as it seems. Just don't give up. Because I was at the point of killing myself a lot. And we're so glad that you didn't. I'm so glad that you didn't. I never would have reached you. You've got so much more to give. And you've got so much more to share. And I know that even after our event that we had that day, how many people came to you.
and came to just say to you that they've been going through so much of the same, and thank you, yeah, that you stood and you never gave up. So now from the bottom of my heart, I'm so glad that you didn't. And so am I. Glad you didn't. You've done. I mean, we get to know you. We work together, and how many times I come past your office, and you've got somebody sitting there who's just pouring out their heart to you, sharing their light with you, and coming to hear from you, or even just to sit and spend time in your company. Even when you don't say a word, yeah, you give so much sleep to others. Imagine if you had to check out. So there's so many of us that wouldn't have been getting that strength that we get from you so often. And it's days that I do doubt myself. Yeah, I do. Because I still battle. Sometimes I still battle with the fact is, am I here for a reason? What's my reason for being around still? I often ask myself, well, and I'm here to remind myself, this is the reason why I'm here. I can give you a few reasons. Kyle, Zaid, Mishka, Koi, Konya, Lucy, Linus, then there's so many reasons. And I'm so grateful for the voice in your head, the voice of God that says to never give up. There's a scripture that comes to mind for me. Where God talks about when you endure. I think it's in the New Testament somewhere, where God says that when you've gone through trials, is something that happens that builds character. You're enduring things, so it builds character, builds perseverance. It builds this amazing person that end up living back. So it's not that we have come to this world to not being any storms and trials. And that's what you built. You built this amazing ability to persevere through the storms of life. And now we that get to listen to you and spend time with you, we get to reap the benefits of it. And I know maybe you're thinking, when are you going to reap the benefit of it? You reap the benefit of it because God has given you so much light. He's given you the blessing of, and like I said, we'll talk about your kids another time, but the blessing of your children and what they've done. You've got the blessing of those wonderful children, and we'll talk about it, but there's so much. And obviously also just the anchor scripture of take heart is that Jesus says he came to tell us these things so that you can have peace. Yeah. Because in this world we will have trials, we will have challenges and sorrows, but we can take heart because he's overcome. And you overcome because you listen to that voice to not give up. Yeah, absolutely. And carry you through. Yeah. And you've overcome it on the 1st of August to that event, today, and all those other conversations. You've been overcoming because you've been sharing your testimony. And so, any last thoughts for our viewers, for those listening, that are going through tough times, and even those that have come out on the other side, that's also looking back and thinking that, when am I going to get my moment in the sun? When is things going to be okay for me? I'm still trying to build myself back up again. What do you want to say today? Yeah. This is my favorite, so let's never,
That's what,
Just
never
that.
give up. Just never give up, because those words kept me going. The voice, never give up. That kept me going, to be honest with you.
So,
And I still listen to that voice.
so cool. Okay, now it's just coming back to you talking about Kyle. Kyle is handicapped there. And obviously after your divorce and life has gone on, yes, you said you the one thing is you did give up. But how learning from that abusive situation, that marriage, how is it giving you the strength to deal with your handicapped son? He's 35 now?
Yeah.
And just any other challenges that that you're coming across or dealing with at the moment. How is it helping you to overcome?
A question. I've never actually given thought, because I just keep, like I said to you in a previous conversation we had, like I just keep going. Yeah. Like I cannot stop. So with having Carl and his challenges as well, that actually motivated me to keep going, because there's this boy that's depending on me. Yeah. My girl, like I said, Mishka, and they're gonna grow up, they're gonna get married as they did. We are very nice, moved on. Now he's a grown man, but he's still a little boy. And that at the back of my mind kept me going, because I need to keep going for him. Yeah. And that was my motivation. Like, okay, this man is gonna need you. Yeah. He's gonna need you more than anything else. And you cannot give up on him or on life.
So if I'm listening to you, it sounds like you kind of just you buckle down and it is a problem. And I'm gonna get through this, yeah, and you buckle down.
Right? Yeah. So I'm not we overthinking, no, just this needs to happen now. Let's do it, move on. And I'm still like that. Yeah. You did my girl. Yeah. Challenges, sort it out. If you can't, probably handled in a different way. But you need to move on. Yeah. And that is just how I've grown and how I try to teach my kids as well. Yeah. Maybe sometimes I say I do some tough love. But I don't feel it's tough love. I just need you to know that life is going to throw change in it. Yeah. All the time. Yes, you can sit and cry and phone, but you need to get up and you need to move on. And that's the say though. You can't. You can't. And that is what happened to me. I was down. I had to get up. I had to keep getting up. And even if I got up 50 times, I kept going. And I got up and I moved on.
It's so big. So boils down to just don't quit. Don't quit them. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And yes, you saw with the demons, you saw had those spooks.
Yeah.
But there's so much that you've overcome. And this side now, the side that leads you to experience many times, is the side that brings hope, because that's where the confirmation comes. Huh? What is it like for you now? How often do you smile? What's the stuff that's making you smile and happy and keep going? Because you go, you got a lot of energy to do.
I absolutely do. It switched after my divorce. After that 5 years, like I said, it took me 5 years to get to that point, and I'm really become a different person. The reason for my smiling is my son. The fact that I can celebrate him every year still. Yes, yeah. The fact that I can see him smile at me when I walk into my home at night time. That gives me hope, because waking up in the morning, seeing him awake, literally seeing him awake, gives me hope for another day, because now I can go to work with a smile on my face. It's challenging at times, like, you said, I have my challenges with it all the time, but I walk into work like nothing happened at all. Yeah. Because I have to have it, because how am I going to encourage other people? And doing the touch on that again, like you said, with the little boy that's just disabled, the challenges I have at home when he gets sick or he has convulsions or I forget up 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I deal with it. Like I said, I deal with the situation and I move on.
Yeah.
And I wake up. Okay, I'm not a morning person. Yeah. But I wake up and I have this inner smile. And when I get to work, it comes out.
Yeah.
Because I have people that I need to also encourage every day. These young ones at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So students, yeah, students. Our students that I have to deal with on the daily. I cannot be sitting there looking miserable, carrying my problems on my shoulder, and yeah, no, I can't do that. Because I have these kids that also have challenges at home. Yeah. So I need to be that happy person. Even when I go out, even when I have some time with my friends, they always tell me, like, where do you get this energy from? Say, God has blessed me with this good looks and this energy for days. Yes.
Yes, and you got enough of that. We know. So, and for fun now, because also, I mean, if you look back, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't even, I could to work. Yeah. Now you get to have this fantastic social life because you love being social. And Carl loves being social. You have to social with. By the way, I was introduced. I'm not allowed to call him Carl. So when you guys meet him, it's Uncle Walker D. Um, and he loves the social interactions too. So now, what's that like? You get to be free. Yeah. You get to enjoy even company of other people. Absolutely. I get to meet. I got to meet so many people in this time. Yeah. And interact with people and socialize with people and encourage people. Make people cry at some point. I cry with them, but more listen to what people are going through. And I can encourage. Well, the best part to me is when I can actually give someone advice and it helps. Yeah. Sometimes I think it doesn't help, but then we'll come back and say, but actually what you said helped me. I'm like, go out there. Oh, wow. Did you end up being addicted? No. Never. Never, never, never. Never. And God help you did. I did, absolutely. And now you got your own place. Yeah. You need to be free. Your kids are grown. I did this well. I want to with my daughter. Yep. You're going to New Zealand soon. No, it's only next year, right? Only next year. You're going to visit the kids and your daughter and your grandkids. Nothing can move you back. We are much in young back in. That's a good tip. Right. Proud of you, go. And keep moving it. And then through it all, we thank God, yes, that He's made it possible for you to overcome and to now add these incredible benefits, yeah, in a future that looks so possible. The first is surrounding yourself with good people.
And my colleagues as well. Absolutely. You, Lucy. My colleagues. I speak to on a daily. I see how excited they get when I walk into the office because they want to see what outfit they have. Yes. Yeah. And it makes me feel good because I might have had a bad day the day before. But when I walk out of the office and I come back the next day and I feel much better. And the look on their face, even when I'm not in office, they'll call me like, where are you? What's happening? Are you not well?
Yeah.
Can you please come? That makes me feel good. And makes me feel appreciated. Yeah. And I never had that before. Like I've never had that.
Because we're the right.
I wasn't alive. Yeah. Okay.
That Jesus has come to set you free, though.
It's been incredible to listen to your story.
I know when you're ready, we can have you back. Yeah, on this topic, eh? Yes, we can. When you're ready to share more. I thank you. I know this has been a lot. And even for me, listening to it, because, and I know every woman in the audience, every person in that, it's not even just women anymore that experience these things. Every person that has gone through something similar, some form of abuse, I know you can relate. And so find the strength. Don't get up at mad BCs. And just stay hopeful. You can overcome through Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Father, we thank you that we found our voices. We thank you that you've given us this platform to be able to allow for freedom to reign, for you to come into our homes, our hearts, our minds, and to break chains, to set us free. Thank you that you give us the victory and that you give us that overcoming power, which we know we can only find through you. And so continue to be with us, O Lord. Continue to shatter anything that is hindering, that is blocking, any walls that we've put up. Break those as hard as it may be, so that we can move to freedom every day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.